The secret of happiness from the wisest man in the world. We're going to talk about it on today's podcast. Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We've realized life is a dance. The ups and downs can spin you out of your mind, but it's time to take back control. It's time to become a lifer. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We are a new breed of overachievers. Emotional mastery is our journey, and unlocking our full potential is the key. Welcome to the journey. We are lifers, and this is Majic for Life. What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Majic for Life podcast. I'm so glad you joined me today. And just like the intro said, we are going to talk about the secret of happiness from the wisest man of the world. So I'm going to jump right in and I'm going to read this little piece to you, and then I'll tell you exactly what we're talking about. So, a certain shopkeeper sent his son to learn about the secret of happiness from the wisest man in the world. The lad wandered through the desert for 40 days and finally came upon a beautiful castle atop a mountain. It was there that the wise man lived. Rather than finding a saintly man, though, our hero, on entering the main room of the castle, saw a hive of activity. Tradesmen came and went. People were conversing in the corners. A small orchestra was playing soft music, and there was a table covered with platters of the most delicious food in that part of the world. The wise man conversed with everyone, and the boy had to wait for 2 hours before it was his turn to be given the man's attention. The wise man listened attentively to the boy's explanation of why he had come, but told him that he didn't have time just then to explain the secret of happiness. He suggested that the boy look around the palace and return in 2 hours. Meanwhile, I want to ask you to do something, said the wise man, handing the boy a teaspoon that held 2 drops of oil. As you wander around, carry this spoon with you without allowing the oil to spill. The boy began climbing and descending the many stairways of the palace, keeping his eyes fixed on the spoon. After 2 hours, he returned to the room where the wise man was. Well, asked the wise man, did you see the Persian tapestries that are hanging on my dining hall? Did you see the garden that took the master gardener 10 years to create? Did you notice the beautiful parchments in my library? The boy was embarrassed and confessed that he had observed nothing. His only concern had been not to spill the oil that the wise men had entrusted to him. Then go back and observe the marvels of my world, said the wise man. You cannot trust a man if you don't know his house. Relieved, the boy picked up the spoon and returned to his exploration of the palace, this time observing all the works of art on the ceilings and the walls. He saw the gardens, the mountains all around him, the beauty of the flowers, and the taste which everything had been selected. Upon returning to the wise man, he related in detail everything he had seen. But where are the drops of oil I entrusted to you? Asked the wise man. Looking down at the spoon he held, the boy saw the oil was gone. Well, there's only one piece of advice I can give you, said the wisest man. The secret of happiness is to see all the marvels of the world and never to forget the drops of oil on the spoon. This is one of my favorite stories within a story. It's interesting, and I'm curious, what exactly does it mean to you? And I'd like you to write it in the comments below. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'd love you to write what that story means to you. If you're listening on a podcast, I'd love to hear from you. Please send me an email, info@magicforlife.com. I'd love to hear what this story meant for you, or comment below. This story is from one of my favorite books. It's from a book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And it's a story within a story. And it's just a little short excerpt. It's a little parable within a story that is grander and greater. And if you haven't read Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist, you need to go get yourself a copy. You can find it everywhere. It's been translated into so many different languages. And it is a very, very famous book. But one time, I remember looking it up on Google. I was looking for a new book, and I just said, top 10 books that changed your life forever. And this was in the top 10. And I didn't pick it up. I chose a different one. And a little while later, another one of the mentors that I look up to was saying what was in his top 10 of books that influenced him. And this book came up again. And finally, I was like, okay, I'm going to get that book. It's an easy read. You can get through it very simply. And honestly, there are some really great parables throughout the book, even within the book and the story of the book. And it's really fabulous. But what exactly did you get out of this? What did you get out of the secret of happiness from this wisest of men in the world? Well, he said, go look through my palace and hold the oil on the spoon. Well, the boy was so worried and concerned that he didn't see anything. He didn't see anything. He was so busy, probably looking right there in front of him on the spoon. Can you imagine? I mean, just imagine you grab a spoon, right? And you're holding 2 drops of oil on that spoon, and you're walking around and you're trying to just not fall down. So you're looking, you're going back and forth, constantly looking at that spoon. All right. And then the second time he went back and he was like, okay, I'm supposed to see everything. So he was following the instructions. How many times in your life have you followed the instructions thinking that it was going to help you find happiness? Because you followed the instructions, but you spent so much time following the instructions that it didn't bring you any happiness. Then only to find out that when you went back, they went, do the opposite. So you went back and did the opposite, and it was amazing, and you thought you had it, but now you missed the thing that you were supposed to do. How many of you have done this, right? How many of you have figuratively gone through your life holding the spoon, doing everything you were supposed to do, following the instructions in efforts to gain happiness? And you missed out on everything around you, in your whole world, in all of your world. You missed out on all of the things because you were so focused on the spoon and keeping the oil on the spoon. You were playing the rules, playing by the rules, following the instructions, doing everything you were supposed to, but you missed out on the world around you. And then maybe just to turn around and flip it 180 degrees and go out and see everything. And then all of a sudden, everything on the spoon fell out. And there goes life. And there goes all of the things that maybe you worked for. Or maybe there goes all of the stuff in your world that you worked so hard to get. So what is indeed the secret to happiness? Well, according to that wise man, do both. Well, how can you do both? How can you do that? How can you live every moment like it was your last when you have to focus so much on keeping the oil on the spoon? Those are all good questions. And I suggest you go read the book. It's a great book, The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho. There's some amazing things in it. You're not going to go wrong. It's an easy read. I've read it to 2 of my children, soon to be the other 2. And so I've read it a few times, and it's a wonderful story. It's a great story. There's some really wonderful lessons in it. And there's some stories within the story that are really great. But if you're wanting to jump in and really get some knowledge about how to live every minute, how do you live every minute? How do you do it with the spoon and keeping the oil on the spoon? If you want to get some extra advice besides the cool stuff that comes from The Alchemist, go check out a copy of my new book, Every Minute, Emotional Mastery Secrets for the Dance of Life. You can pick it up at everyminutebook.com. And you can't go wrong, guys. It's a great book, and 2 of my favorite books, right? And I'd love you to go check it out. Right now, you can get a copy of it for free if that offer is still available. So go check it out at everyminutebook.com and go read The Alchemist, for goodness sakes. I'd love to hear your comments, and I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email at info@magicforlife.com. I'd love to hear what this meant to you. And if you know somebody that this could help, please share the podcast or share the YouTube channel with somebody else. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love you to help us change the world. So So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And we sure appreciate all of you listeners. You make it worth us continuing to do this. We do this for you guys. We do it to help change the world, help change your world. And so we'd love to hear your comments. And if this has helped you in any sort of way, please comment down below and let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And aside from that, just remember, keep living every minute. Hey, lifers, don't forget to get your free copy of the Every Minute book. You can find it at everyminutebook.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.